Hello beautiful people, my name is Amanda Zitto. If you are new here, I make motorcycle travel vlogs, how-tos, and general encouragement for you to get out and do the thing. 2021 is coming to a close, so it is that time of year again where I'm going to share some of my favorite gear that I have received and / purchased this year. A little note at the beginning of this video that this is not a monetarily sponsored video. I was not asked to make this video. Nobody told me what I could or could not say. All the reviews in this video are my own. However, I am a Motocamp Nerd ambassador and I do have affiliate links which will be placed down in the description, and you can use the code Magpie at checkout on motocampnerd.com to get 10% off of your order. It is cold and I have my beautiful quilt that the lovely Joanne made and gave to me at Rocky Mountain Roll. Thank you, Joanne. I use it like every day. This is my new lap blanket and I love it so much. Got fleece on the other side and it makes it super cozy and I love it. Okie dokie, let's start off my list with my Ceta Summit Water Cell X. I was given this water cell as a part of a sponsor video that I did with Motocamp Nerd back in March, I believe it was. A few of you may remember when I lost it back in May and cried about it because I had to use my backup bladder for the rest of the trip and I hated it. For context, I don't have a good history with HydroPack. I took one to Baja with me and those bags are just not designed to be strapped to the outside of a motorcycle duffel, and the plastic cap cracked, leaked my water everywhere, and I was left like skimming water off of my friends for the whole rest of the day until we could get to the next place that I could buy water. Not a great first introduction. The only reason I even had a HydroPack with me is because I bought this little adapter kit that only works with the HydroPack so that I could use the Sawyer squeeze with it. So I designated the HydroPack just as like my dirty water bag, so it never would have to be strapped to the outside of my bags. I would fill it up, filter the water into my better bladder, and roll up the empty one and put it back in the bottom of my saddlebag. It was never meant to be my primary water bladder and don't like using it. Anyway, that's besides the point. Motocamp Nerd was very kind enough to send me a replacement bladder, partially because he's kind like that, also because I am an ambassador and he sponsored a couple of the videos, and also I heard that Geared Raven gave him a hell of a hard time about it when I posted that I lost it on my Instagram stories. Geared Raven, if you're watching this, I'm just sending you love and affection. I appreciate you. I also have used the MSR 4-liter bladder for a long time because it also has the nice abrasion-resistant laminate exterior, but the water cell is a much better shape, in my personal opinion, for strapping to the back of a motorcycle. And it feels so much more compact while still carrying 4 liters. The opening being on one whole end instead of like somewhere in the middle of the body also makes it easier to empty completely. I can never empty the MSR bladder completely. There always ends up being a little bit of water in it. Also, the shower head is a thing that I did not think that I would care about, but it was very nice to be able to rinse out my hair while we were doing the Idaho BDR. Favorite water cell, highly recommend. Okay, let's move on to this big boy. The next one on my list I want to talk about is my big Agnes Diamond Park 0 degree sleeping bag. I have intentions of making a fuller, more in-depth review of the sleeping bag because there's a lot of things to go over. There's a lot of features with this sleeping bag and a lot of notes that I have about the sleeping bag. But to keep it concise here, my main notes are that I love it, but it's big. There are a couple give and takes with the sleeping bag. Like I said, it is big. Even compressed, it's very large. I normally choose to pack it in its regular stuff sack, not this. This is its storage bag. Because in its regular stuff sack, it's kind of narrow and longer. Whereas when I use the compression sack on it, it gets fatter and it's just like a giant brick. And it's easier to pack around when it's long and narrow versus being a solid brick. But I am a very cold sleeper and I have been struggling for years and years and years to make a setup where I am comfortable all night. Since I got the sleeping bag, I have had very little issues, maybe like 2 or 3 nights where it was very, very cold. And also keeping in mind, it is this big because it is a 0 degree bag. Big Agnes also makes a 15 degree and a 30 degree bag, and they are a little bit smaller in comparison. I will also say it is the most luxurious uncomfortable sleeping bag that I have ever used. I mean, obviously partially because it was nice and toasty and I wasn't cold, but also just the way that it's designed, that bottom part being essentially like a sheet over your sleeping pad and the top part being just like a giant comforter, because that's where all the stuffing is in the top part of the sleeping bag. The only other issue that I have is that I did rip a seam along where the pillow barn attaches to the rest of the body of the sleeping bag, and that was wholly my fault because I overstuffed the pillow barn with like 2 down jackets and a fleece jacket. Long story short, I was way too rough with it. Any other piece of gear also would have ripped under that amount of abuse and tension, so I don't blame the sleeping bag at all. I patched it with a vinyl patch. It wasn't a big deal. But yeah, I love the sleeping bag a lot. I love that there's zippers down both sides, so it doesn't matter which side of the tent that I decide is my front door. I've never had a zipper stick. I'm just in love with it. I think right now, as of filming this video at the beginning of December 2021, Moto Camp Nerd is out of stock of the sleeping bag and the 30 and the 15 degree version. However, if you go to their product page on motocampnerd.com, you can hit the little notify me button and put in your email, and he'll email you when they're back in stock. Highly recommended. It's definitely been worth it. Like, literally my only complaint is about how big it is. Packed. But, you know, it's one of those situations where, like, you weigh the pros and cons of the space that it takes up over the comfort that it gives. And so far, it has still, like, held in the favor of taking it, even though it packs ginormous. Also, a small note at the end here. If you're not keeping your sleeping bag in this like a big storage sack like this that's ventilated, and you haven't done that yet, and you haven't gone camping in the last 2 weeks, do me a favor and go free your sleeping bag from its compression sack. You'll thank me later when your down still puffs up the way that it should. Okay, we're moving on to my Ceta Summit Alpha Pan, X-Pot, and kettle. I'm listing these all together because they exist as one unit to me. I know that I talked about these quite a bit in my making a motorcycle camp kitchen that fits your own needs video. If you haven't watched that, I'll link it above my head and down in the description. But I really do feel like I finally found a kit that works for me. I'm no longer searching for different kind of pots. I'm no longer going into the camp section of like literally every store that I walk into and be like, oh, I wonder what they have and if that'll work better for me. I did used to do that. I will also tack on here at the end the X mug because it's super affordable and it will fit in this kit. Like, you have the Alpha Pan, the X pot, the X kettle. I have the regular X cup in there, but you can fit the X mug inside of the X kettle in this whole setup. Next on my list is my Nemo Philo Elite Luxury Pillow. It's kind of a mouthful, and I did talk about it in the Ori Gun Run / Insta360 video, and I gave it 4 stars, and I stick by that 4-star rating. Part of the reason I gave it 4 stars is because, well, one, it's very comfortable. Like, the top fabric that goes against your face is like a t-shirt material. It's very comfy. I like it a lot. Like, the air baffles, the way that they're made, like the pillow doesn't like move your head back and forth like other air pillows do. However, it's not quite tall enough sitting off of the sleeping pad for me to be comfortable. So I do need to put like a jacket or a fleece underneath of it to raise the height. So what I have been doing is I stuff a fleece into the pillow barn of my sleeping bag, and then I put the Nemo on top so I have like that nice soft fabric against my face. But overall, I really do recommend it. It's very nice, and it's a lot longer than other camping pillows that I've had. Cool. All right, one more. All right. There you are. Okay. The last one is my biggest surprise of the year, and it is my UST Trekker stove. If you have been watching the channel for a while, you will know that I have been a longtime lover of my Primus stove, which has the solid arms. I think that I did rant at one point about liking the solid construction of that stove over movable arms that hold up the pot because I just trusted it more. And I think that part is still true. However, the thing that has sold me on the UST Trekker stove, for one, it is so much cheaper than the MSR Pocket Rocket. If you're looking to like actually cook food on a stove, this is the much better option. And so I found that the adjustability of the flame on the UST Trekker is much higher than on my Primus or on any other MSR stove that I have tried thus far. Yeah, highly recommended. I really enjoy using it. But yeah, super budget friendly. And I just really like the usability of it. The only thing that I don't like about it is that like once you've used it a few times, like these little arms kind of get a little bit stiff, and it's super easy to bend these feet. So you have to pay attention and bend them back in shape if you misshape them. I found if you like have like a tiny can of WD-40, it loosens them right back up. Here at the end, I'm also going to give an honorable mention to the Flextail Gear Tiny Pump. I think that I've talked about it enough this year. You guys are probably sick of me. I have the version with the camp light on the bottom, and I don't know how I existed before it. Like, I think back to like using my pump sack to blow up my sleeping pad, and I just cringe. And I think I've only forgot it once, and I was very upset with myself. I honestly didn't think it was something that was going to work. I bought it, it seemed like a gimmick, expected it not to work, and was very pleasantly surprised. Highly, highly recommended. Also a very budget piece of gear that is, in my opinion, life-changing. The kit comes with a bunch of different nozzle adapters so that it would work with pretty much any like backpacking style sleeping pad. Highly recommended. Links to that is also down in the description. And I think that's it, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you got something out of this video. If you did, make sure that you hit that like and subscribe button. A huge, huge shout out to my patrons on Patreon who make these videos possible. I would not be able to do this without them, so thank you very much. I am selling motorcycle art calendars until the end of December. Pre-order means that you will make your purchase and there will be a gap of time between when you make your purchase and when I get the product and send it off to you. So don't expect them right away. The point of this rant and me telling you that I have calendars for sale is because I'm using the funds from this calendar launch to go across the country again. If we hit my goal, if we hit my funding goal, I will be able to go cross country again. My goal is to cut along the southern part of the United States and go to Florida. So if you enjoyed the Flight of the Magpie series and you enjoyed those videos and you have a little bit of extra cash, or if you need a calendar for next year, please, please go to the link to my Etsy shop. You can go buy a calendar and support this crazy dream of mine to do it again. But this time, the southern half of the United States, because it's going to be cold. Okay, for my end screen crew, we're not gonna do a question this time. Just, if you made it this far in the video, leave in the comments, wow, Amanda cleaned her garage. Okay, I'll see you guys later.